For me, I feel that being an artist is more than just saying that you went to art school. There's a lot more to it than that, and I will talk a little bit about that later on. But firstly, I never went to art school. In fact, I went to university and got a degree in something that wasn't even remotely creative whatsoever. So for me personally, I never went to art school because I never even really considered it at all. I just didn't even consider doing it, to be honest. I've drawn all my life, but it wasn't until I was about 16 that I really started taking it seriously. I obviously didn't start university till I just turned 19. Even though I had been drawing for 3 years at that point, it still was not something that I considered doing. There's a stigma attached, as I'm sure you all know, that obviously going to art school, it's very difficult to get a job in art afterwards. I ended up getting a bachelor's degree in computer science, and a big part of the reason I went for this was because I was struggling with my head and my heart. I initially really liked the idea of doing graphic design because when I was about 13, I loved sort of messing about and trying to build websites, and I really loved making the graphics for it. But when it came down to it, the graphic design degree was incredibly expensive, and in the area that I lived in, there weren't a lot of graphic design jobs there, and I'm not someone that is willing to relocate, and that also has something to do with the art degree thing as well. I'm not someone that's willing to relocate thousands of miles away in order to get a job in something. I'm more of a creature of comfort. I like to stay home. But basically, it was expensive to get a degree in graphic design. The chances of me getting a job after would have been slim, and salary for graphic design was not that sort of great in regards to how much the degree was going to cost me. And I always enjoyed web design, so I decided to go for computer science instead because, in my head I was obviously computer science is one of the top 10, I think, degrees to get nowadays because it's such a fast growing industry that there was more chance of me getting, work there, and it was actually cheaper for me to do that than it was to get a degree into graphic design. So yeah, I think this is what a lot of people, especially of my generation, suffer with. It's, do I go with my head or do I go with my heart? Do I go with what I really want to do, even though there's not a lot of jobs in it and it's expensive, or do I do what's safe, playing it safe? For me, again, going back to art school, I had a friend that went to art school several years ago, and she went to quite an expensive, prestigious type school, and she was going to be shelling out about $180,000 just for an art degree. And as far as I'm aware now, she graduated 3 years ago or so, I think. As far as I'm aware, she is still not doing anything art related at all. I think her plan was to kind of work for Disney, but she still lives in the same place that I did, where there's not a lot of art related jobs. So, and to me, I feel a lot of that is probably because she maybe didn't do a lot to promote herself outside of art school, because that's one of the biggest things that I feel with art school. You can have a piece of paper that says you went to art school, but if you've not done much to promote yourself during that time or outside of that, it's going to be harder for you to find a job. For example, if you want to work somewhere like Disney, usually they're going to want you to have a degree in art. So if you're dead set that you are, willing to move and you're willing to do this and do that and go to the ends of the earth, then by all means, definitely, getting an art degree is important for most art-related jobs in the industry. But it also comes down to the fact that you need to have a decent portfolio. A lot of places, if they're faced with two candidates, one person has an art degree and a mediocre portfolio they didn't really work very hard on, and then you have someone that doesn't have an art degree but has a lot of experience and has an incredible portfolio, chances are they're going to go with this person. In my opinion, a portfolio is just as important, if not more important, than an art degree itself. We live in a day and age where we have social media, and that's something that a few hundred years ago they obviously didn't have. They had to physically go to a gallery and display their work in order to kind of promote themselves. So nowadays it's really down to self-promoting or knowing the right people. If you're lucky enough to know the right people, or you go to a school that's going to be in the industry and sort of set you a job afterwards, that's good. You're very lucky in that regard. But again, you've got to be willing to take those steps to move, because chances are you have to. But you really do need to utilise social media if you want to become an artist, whether you do art school or whether you don't. I've found personally that YouTube for me has been a great outlet. It's something that I use to express myself. and it's kind of turned less into a hobby now, as it has me trying to utilize this and use YouTube as like a springboard into like something art related. I still don't know yet, but I have had a lot of opportunities thrown my way in the past year. Last year this time had about 1,500 subscribers, and now I have almost 60,000, which is insane to me, but that's not really what I'm talking about. I have had so many more opportunities for things thrown my way just based on the fact I have an audience now, and nothing has changed in that past year. I still don't have an art degree. My art, maybe has improved a little bit, but it's not like improved drastically or it's like this amazing thing. My art's not much different to what it was a year ago, but it's only because I have an audience now that I'm getting more opportunities my way. And that's why I keep saying that it's more about who you know. You need to know the right people, and if you don't know the right people, which I certainly didn't and still don't, you need to make the effort to get your work out there, whether that be on YouTube, whether that be on Instagram. Another thing I really want to talk about here is you need to put your personality out there as well if you can. There are so many incredible artists that I follow and know and really love their work, but I have no idea who they are as a person, what they look like, how they act. And it's just kind of human nature to relate to people that you kind of know. If you have an artist that you know what they look like, what they act like, an artist that you just like their work but you don't know them, you're going to be more warming to, and sort of giving more attention to the artists that you do physically know than the ones you don't. And that's why even in my speed painting videos, I liked to show my face and personality a bit, because I feel that is incredibly important. You need to be very full of life, full of personality, so people can warm to you. For me now, I am at a point where I am struggling again with that head or heart thing, because now this has happened with my YouTube channel. I have a degree in computer science, but now I'm kind of like, well, maybe now I can get some with my art instead, or maybe I can again combine the two. I'm just incredibly conflicted, because now obviously I feel that my future may lie with art or something more creative, and I may eventually get opportunities because of YouTube that I wouldn't have had before. It's like I can't really come to terms with giving up art in general and just getting a regular job in computer science and giving up YouTube. I'm just really conflicted, because I could go out there, get a full-time job related to computer science, or I could continue with YouTube and just hope that the opportunities I get because of it will continue to grow. But then it's also quite a risk, because also you can't really rely on YouTube to get you places. You can't rely on that, and that's why I'm struggling. I'm just like, I'm so conflicted. Do I just get do I be safe in my head? Do I be safe and get this full-time job where I'll be doing technology or whatever I'm doing, or do I remain and be a bit risky and just keep up with YouTube? Because if I'm working full-time in a technological job or whatever, chances are I'm not going to be able to continue with YouTube very much anymore, and that's something that I'm risking both ways. I'm risking something, and I'm lucky because I've got the opportunity to think and choose between those two things, because a lot of people don't have that option. They're not lucky enough to have that option to choose. But I think if you yourself are sat here considering, do I go to art school or don't I? Do I risk it? I can't sway you either way. It's totally up to you if you want to, it's between your head and your heart again. And it's risky either way, because you obviously fear, not doing what you love, and you do work most of your life. So you want to do something you love, but getting into that is not always the easiest thing. Okay, I hope that made sense. Thank you so much for watching. If you're going to art school, or you're thinking about it, or you're not thinking about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and your kind of opinions as well, because everyone has different opinions on things, and it's always important. So thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.